Wanna Hug That Gator follows the main character Incognito, who at first comes off as a plainly ignorant rich kid who has no idea how to read the room or comprehend anything around him, or to have friends for that matter. He embodies everything you might see in somebody who has lived a sheltered and well-organized lifestyle alone as he tackles his new high school life. Following his many different transfers due to his parents' lifestyle, he finds himself at St. Hammond High School, which is entirely made up of anthropomorphic dinosaurs. Being the only human at the school definitely doesn't make his life any easier. This is a choose-your-own-adventure visual novel in which you must help him manage his daily life while also taking it all in for yourself. Now, while it may be a visual novel, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of options to actually chime in to control him or anything else around you for that matter. And that in and of itself is very frustrating as you watch him fumble almost every and any attempts that he makes at interacting with those around him, which builds up or down his character and everyone else's opinions of him as you continue forward, giving you 4 possible endings based on all of the choices combined together. So you definitely want to be prepared for a roller coaster of emotions unless you just so happen to land yourself on the perfect ending on your first try. So if you're like me and you dislike getting engaged in drama yet you are very curious, this game did evolve from a 4chan parody called Snoot Game, which was making fun of the pro-trans game Goodbye Volcano High, which ultimately ended up having one of the lead writers leaving and the rest of the writers having to pretty much do a full rewrite of the story. As somebody who didn't know about this until playing through both games, I found that Volcano High did feel interesting and welcoming for a brief moment. When I actually sat down to play it a bit more enthusiastically, it just felt completely out of place and devoid of direction. I just felt like the story's urgency just wasn't there for all the things that were happening, as well as a lack of character development. It just felt like a game developed for one purpose, which is perfectly fine, that being to support the LGBT community. I Wanna Hug That Gator felt better in every aspect. It was a different game than Snoot Game. As somebody with no prior knowledge of the drama going on, I saw no anger or bigotry towards anyone or anything. I mean, it actively supported people with many different disabilities, and it just showed how powerful they can be for themselves with their goals and their ideals. No matter how weird or silly those may have been, with very strong bonds with each of the characters you encounter through Inko, taking you on one of the longest emotional roller coasters with visual flair and storytelling that will rock you to your very core. All I can say is that I wished Volcano High had done the same, but instead it just seemed rather hollow. I Wanna Hug That Gator feels like so many distinctive things at once. It feels like an open parody of a variety of other games at times, with many different references to characters that you're sure to recognize, but it always manages to be powerfully engaging while also staying on track. But then there's that undeniable familiarity of the down-to-earth and real presentation of true emotions and sentiments that each and every one of us has experienced growing up, especially through our high school years. You might even still be experiencing some things like that now, like the dread of what you wanted your future to be and what you have or haven't accomplished, which constantly drags you all over the place and through the mud more than once while clouding your thoughts with nothing but Olivia, the shy and silent paraplegic Gator girl that sits beside Inko in a few of his classes, most notably the art class where she expresses herself much more openly, whether it be with the writing, the emotionally draining music, the characters, or the relatable concerns that she and so many others are continuously dealing with. It makes her the only thing you'll ever want to think about day in and day out until you finally return to fully experience the game, doing everything in your restricted power to give her the happy ending that you so desperately want her to have, owing to the powerful emotional connection this novel has towards you. I would consider myself a very apathetic person, but even so, after experiencing many emotions, particularly with the inner struggle of immersing yourself in so many different visual novels that elicit self-reflection and bring up a lot of painful topics, I just don't know what to really think about at this time or really anytime soon, and Olivia's personality just feels like a reflection of my own, feeling lost and alone in this world, no matter how many people are surrounding you, to the point that I just become increasingly detached over the years from the many activities that I have had so much passion for, and just rejecting people that I could once call friends. Like how I used to really enjoy just going outside and full of enthusiasm and optimism for the future things that I wanted to accomplish, going so far as to pull myself out of a very dark place and to try to start over, somewhere new for a fresh start, and to really push myself with some help from friends. And I always wonder to myself, where did it all go wrong? What pushed me back into the darkness when I tried so hard? But the more and more I look ahead and the more I ponder on the past, the darker things seem, and the less that I can see what is right in front of me and my life full of uncertainty and emptiness, and that I've just been content with it all, which in turn makes me more willing to just ignore everything in the overwhelming sensation to want the past, present, and future to just fade away from my mind entirely, rather than to take a deep breath and to really try to deal with things head on for a third attempt to grasp the reins and take control of my life that doesn't have to be me wallowing in my own self-pity for the next however many years I have left. These are the feelings that I Wanna Hug That Gator help bring out of you and to amplify tenfold. It was all about feeling lost and terrified no matter what you try to do, especially about one's future and the mistakes that have accumulated over the years, to the point where you will consider yourself a failure because you believe you can't and never will live up to any of your own or anyone else's expectations, and that in the end you might just be better off locked away like this because it just feels feels like it's the only option and nothing else will ever work. It's not trying that hard at all, but to simply be a really well-written visual novel that is very easily capable of capturing your attention and making you feel a certain way. Unlike Olivia and many of the other characters, I just don't feel like I'm ready. I want to be able to move on, and I want to succeed in the things that I do and to be happy and to make others happy. I just don't know what the future holds for me, and that is terrifying. And this is my genuine feelings towards this experience, as it's one that will stick with me for many years to come.